I love any media that delves as deep into women as we're used to media delving into men. I love a show that gives us women painted with a nuanced brush, that lets women be complex and deep and multi-layered, and I especially love a show that gives us a complex, flawed, multi-dimensional female villain. The first show I want to talk about is Wynonna Earp. Sure, there are lots of men in the cast, and some of them are very important, but at the core of this show is the relationship between Wynonna and Waverly. And it's not just Wynonna and Waverly. There are so many women in this show. Wynonna, Waverly, Nicole, Gus, the shadows of Mama Earp and Willa, Chrissy Nedley, Rosita, Hetty, Maddie the Blacksmith, the Stone Witch Constance, Lucado, Mercedes, Beth, Greta, Alice. There are tons of women, and none of them fall from the same mold. They're very different women, and they're individual women who are portrayed and written differently and independently from each other. These are fully realized women with rich interior lives who are never reduced to a stereotype or sex appeal. Small detail, but I also love that Wynonna started out having difficulty shooting straight with Peacemaker, and in the second season there was so much talk about how much better of a gunslinger she was than Wyatt Earp. The second show I want to talk about is Killing Eve. Killing Eve speaks my language. It gives me the capable women that I need, the female friendships and cooperation that I need, the sharp, clever, and deadly women that I absolutely need. It gives me intrigue and suspense and three-dimensional characters. There's an article that I'm going to try to find the link to and link in the description about how Killing Eve speaks in female terms, and it really does. This is a show written and made by women, and it shows. Pun not intended, but embraced. Most of the characters on this show, especially the characters who really matter, are women. In fact, I don't think two men talk to each other in a scene without women the entire first season. This show doesn't just have one or two women, it has tons. It has Eve and Villanelle and Carolyn and Elena and Anna and Nadia and Irina and Madame Tatevine. And while most of these women are in the spy industry, so to speak, none of them are cut from the same cloth. They're different characters with individual traits and individual personalities. They're written that way and they're played that way, and just like what I said with Wynonna Earp, I love that. Killing Eve as a whole show is just phenomenal. You really should watch it. It's on the BBC America app. The third show I want to talk about is Orphan Black. Everything there is to say about Orphan Black has already been said, but I'm still going to say my piece. Orphan Black was and still is unparalleled. It was sci-fi, it was intrigue, it was family drama all at once. It gave us tons of women, I mean at least 20, and they were all so different. It gave us brutal women and soft women and women who were both when they needed to be. We had straight women and gay women and bi women. We had mothers by birth and adoptive mothers and foster mothers and women who were not mothers. Highly educated women, women who didn't finish high school, women kind of in the middle. High-powered corporate women and stay-at-home mothers and everyone in between. And Tatiana Maslany played most of them. She's truly incredible, and so is Orphan Black. If you haven't seen Orphan Black and you have the ability to watch it, whether borrowing the DVDs or on BBC America, their app, or on Amazon Prime, please watch it. You will thank me. The fourth show is called Good Girls Revolt. Good Girls Revolt never got the love it deserved. It was an Amazon original, and it was a period piece, and it focused on women, so I know why it didn't get that love, but it was an amazing show that deserved a lot more views than it had. The show's focus is on the employment discrimination that women at the fictional magazine News of the Week encountered in the 1960s and early 1970s. While that discrimination was the focus of the show, it also touched on plenty of other issues. Just to sample a few: racism, abortion, workplace misogyny, non-workplace misogyny, the struggles of working mothers, and plenty of others that I just can't think of right now. If you have Amazon Prime, you should really give this a watch, both because it's a good show about women, and because it's just generally a good show. You can hold it up against any other period piece, and it will stand on its own two legs. Good Girls Revolt is based on a true story about the employment discrimination lawsuit brought by the women of Newsweek in 1970, represented by Eleanor Holmes Norton. It's also based on a book about this particular case, The Good Girls Revolt by Lynn Povich. I'll have that in the description for you. The last show I want to talk about is Big Little Lies on HBO. The first season is the only one that's out so far, though I know they are making a second season, and I'm very excited to see it. On the surface, Big Little Lies looks like a standard murder mystery with a layer about catty rich women. But in reality, it's a show about the importance of the relationships between women. The relationships that Jane has with Celeste and Madeline are life-changing for all of them, but especially so for single mom Jane. It's also a show that delves into physical abuse and sexual assault, so I want to warn you ahead of time. I had to skip more than a couple of scenes because HBO does not pull punches. Every woman on this show has a backstory and feels really real. Even the apparent villain, Renata, gets that kind of three-dimensional treatment where we get to see enough of her interior life and her as a person to understand that the things that she does and says because she thinks it's the best way to protect her daughter. The mystery element of this show is also really well done, and I really, really recommend the book. Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty is one of the best books I have ever read, and definitely the best book I read in 2017. There's only been one season of this show so far, but I know they are working on a second season, and I'm really, really excited to see it. Those are the 5 TV shows about women I'm talking about today. There's a good chance that I will do this again in the future because I love shows about women, as you can probably tell. If there's a particular show that you want to recommend, tell me about it in the comments. All of these are things that I may also do watch-read episodes about in the future, so if you're interested in any of that, let me know. And this isn't a show, but a movie that came out recently that really does women right, so to speak, creates these three-dimensional, fully realized individual characters, is Ocean's 8. It was amazing. I saw it in theaters twice, 1 week apart, and I couldn't get to it a third time because my local theater didn't have it anymore and I didn't want to drive 40 miles. As soon as it comes out on digital or DVD, I'm gonna own it. It's so good. It's that good. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you're well. Bye. This pin says I've got big plans and I really like it. I got it at Michael's.